Hello everyone, welcome to the What If Anime YouTube channel. Today, we are diving into an exciting new story that will take your imagination to the next level. Let's get started. What if Naruto had Denji's chainsaw devil powers? Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. The night air in Konoha carried a peculiar scent, metallic and sharp. 12-year-old Naruto Uzumaki staggered through the forest, blood seeping through his orange jumpsuit. His vision blurred, darkening at the edges. The routine training mission had gone catastrophically wrong when a squad of rogue ninja ambushed Team 7. Sasuke. Sakura. He gasped, remembering how they'd fallen. Kakashi-sensei had been separated from them, fighting off the majority of the attackers. The young genin had been left to fend for themselves against a pale-faced shinobi whose eyes gleamed with malevolent hunger. Naruto collapsed against a tree trunk, sliding down to the mossy ground. The wound in his chest bubbled with each labored breath. He was dying. The realization struck him with curious clarity, his usually chaotic thoughts crystallizing into a single, unwavering understanding. I don't want to die. The thought pulsed through his consciousness, overriding everything else. His dreams of becoming Hokage, of gaining recognition from the village that had shunned him, of proving his worth, all of it would evaporate into nothingness if he died here. Hey kid! Rasped a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. You don't look so good. Naruto's eyes widened as a small, rust-colored fox padded into view. Unlike the massive nine-tailed fox sealed within him, this creature was diminutive, barely the size of a house cat. But something about it sent chills down his spine. Its eyes glowed like fresh blood, and what appeared to be mechanical parts, screws, bolts, and gears, protruded from its fur at odd angles. What are you? Naruto wheezed, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. The fox cocked its head, mechanical components whirring softly. I'm what you humans fear more than death itself. But you can call me Pachida. Naruto coughed, more blood spattering onto the forest floor. Are you a demon? The chainsaw devil? The fox corrected, its voice a metallic purr. I've been watching you, Naruto Uzumaki. You've got another in you already, don't you? That angry nine-tailed brute. Naruto's vision swam. The strange fox was right. He housed the nine-tailed fox, Kurama, sealed within him by the fourth Hokage. But how did this creature know? The nine tails is weakened. Pachida continued, stepping closer. That pale human with the snake eyes did something to your seal. It's why you can't access his chakra right now, Orochimaru. The name flashed through Naruto's mind. The pale-faced shinobi had struck him with a strange technique before disappearing. I'm dying, Naruto stated simply. Yes. The fox's eyes gleamed. But we could make a contract. I could save you. Why would you help me? Naruto managed, the pain intensifying. Because I'm tired of running. Pachida's voice carried an unexpected weariness. Devils like me are hunted relentlessly. I need somewhere to hide, someone to merge with. And you've got an interesting heart, kid. Full of dreams and that stubborn refusal to give up. The fox climbed onto Naruto's lap, its mechanical parts clicking softly. I'll give you my heart. You give me your dreams. That's the contract. Naruto didn't fully understand, but the darkness was encroaching rapidly. He could feel his heartbeat faltering, his body growing cold. My dreams, to be acknowledged, to be Hokage, to protect your precious people. Pachida's eyes seemed to peer into Naruto's soul. I want to see that dream come true through your eyes. With the last of his strength, Naruto reached out, touching the strange fox's head. Deal. The world erupted in blinding red light. Naruto felt something tear into his chest, burrowing deep inside where the dying embers of his life still flickered. There was excruciating pain, then a roaring sound like 1,000 buzzsaws spinning at once, and then darkness. Naruto awoke to the scent of antiseptic and clean sheets. His eyes fluttered open, revealing the sterile white ceiling of Konoha Hospital. For a moment, he wondered if the encounter with the mechanical fox had been a dying hallucination. Naruto! You're awake! Sakura's voice pierced his thoughts. She sat beside his bed, her pink hair disheveled and dark circles under her eyes suggesting she'd been there for hours. Sakura-chan, he croaked, his throat painfully dry. What happened? The mission failed, came Sasuke's blunt reply from the corner of the room. The Uchiha leaned against the wall, arms crossed, but Naruto didn't miss the slight relief in his rival's eyes. We were ambushed by Orochimaru. Kakashi-sensei found you unconscious in the forest. Sakura explained, handing him a glass of water. We thought you were dead, Naruto. Your chest was completely torn open. Naruto's hand flew to his chest, feeling nothing but unmarred skin beneath the hospital gown. No scar, no wound, no evidence of the fatal injury he'd sustained. The medical ninjas couldn't explain it. Sasuke said, his eyes narrowing. They said your wound healed itself in seconds. A strange weight settled in Naruto's stomach. He remembered the fox, Pachita, and their contract. Had it been real? Did he now have not one, but two entities residing within him? I feel weird, Naruto admitted. Different. His senses seemed sharper, his body lighter despite the hospital fatigue. Deep within, he felt a strange, mechanical hum alongside the familiar presence of Kurama. The exams are postponed, Sakura informed him. After the attack, the Hokage decided to increase security and reschedule the Chunin exams for next month. Naruto nodded absently, his mind racing. What had happened to him? What was this new power surging beneath his skin? Sasuke. Naruto's voice was suddenly firm, surprising even himself. Hit me, Sasuke raised an eyebrow. What? Just do it. Naruto, you just woke up from a near-death experience. Sakura protested, but something in Naruto's expression made Sasuke push off from the wall. Without warning, the Uchiha struck, his fist aimed directly at Naruto's face with precision and speed that would have been impossible to dodge. Except Naruto didn't need to dodge, the impact never came. Instead, a sound like a revving engine filled the room, and something burst from Naruto's forehead. A small, gleaming chainsaw that intercepted Sasuke's fist. Sasuke leapt back, his eyes wide with shock. Sakura screamed, stumbling away from the bed. And Naruto. Naruto stared down at his hands, where the skin had split open to reveal mechanical components beneath. Gears, pistons, and the unmistakable teeth of chainsaws. What the hell? Sasuke breathed, activating his Sharingan. What are you, Naruto? Naruto's heart hammered against his ribs. The chainsaws retracted, disappearing back into his flesh with a soft mechanical whir. The skin sealed seamlessly, leaving no evidence of the bizarre transformation. I'm still me, Naruto said slowly, though uncertainty gnawed at him. What had Pachita done to him? And what would happen now? The door to the hospital room burst open, revealing Kakashi and the third Hokage. Their expressions turned from concern to alarm as they took in the scene. Sasuke with his Sharingan activated, Sakura backed against the far wall, and Naruto sitting upright in bed with an unnatural calm. Naruto, the third Hokage said carefully. What just happened? We felt a surge of chakra unlike anything we've ever sensed before. Naruto swallowed hard. How could he explain what he barely understood himself? The contract with Pachita, the metallic power thrumming beneath his skin, the chainsaws that had erupted from his body in response to threat. I made a deal, he said finally, looking up to meet the Hokage's concerned gaze. Was something called the Chainsaw Devil. The Hokage's office felt suffocatingly small as Naruto stood before the village leader. Kakashi and a solemn-faced Jiraiya flanked him on either side, while various ANBU Black Ops agents lurked in the shadows. After the incident in the hospital room, Naruto had been immediately quarantined and subjected to a battery of tests and examinations. This is unprecedented, the third Hokage murmured, poring over the medical reports. Two distinct entities within one vessel. The Nine Tails and now this. Chainsaw Devil. I can still feel Kurama, Naruto offered, using the Nine Tails' true name, a knowledge that had somehow transferred to him through his contract with Pachita. But he's quiet. Like he's sleeping. Jiraiya stepped forward, his normally jovial face etched with concern. Orochimaru's 5-element seal disrupted the original seal containing the Nine Tails. That temporary weakening must have created an opening for this other entity to enter. But what exactly is it? Kakashi asked, his visible eye fixed on Naruto. I've never heard of a chainsaw devil in any shinobi records, because it's not from our world. Jiraiya replied grimly. There are dimensions beyond our own, realms of beings that we can scarcely comprehend. This creature must have found a way to cross over, perhaps drawn by the Nine-Tails' presence. Naruto fidgeted uncomfortably. Since awakening with his new powers, he hadn't heard Pachita's voice again. But he could feel the devil's presence. A low, mechanical hum beneath his skin. A strange hunger that gnawed at him from the inside. Can you control it? The Hokage asked directly, his piercing gaze boring into Naruto. Naruto hesitated. I think so. When Sasuke tried to hit me, the chains just appeared. Like they were protecting me. Show us, Jiraiya commanded. Not a full transformation, just enough to demonstrate. Naruto nodded nervously. He closed his eyes, reaching inward toward the strange, mechanical presence that shared his body. Pachita? He called mentally. Are you there? No verbal response came, but Naruto felt a stirring, like gears slowly turning. He focused on his right arm, imagining the chainsaw he'd seen emerge from his body before. A jolt of pain shot through him, followed by the now familiar sound of revving engines. His skin split along his forearm, peeling back to reveal gleaming metal beneath. Bones and muscle reconfigured, transforming into a foot-long chainsaw blade that hummed with deadly potential. Fascinating. Jiraiya breathed, leaning closer to examine the transformation. It's not chakra-based. It's physical manipulation of your actual body. Does it hurt? Kakashi asked, his Sharingan eye uncovered now, recording every detail of the transformation. Not exactly. Naruto replied, turning his arm to observe the chainsaw protruding from his flesh. It feels natural. Like this is how my body is supposed to work now. The third Hokage rose from his seat, approaching Naruto cautiously. And what happens when you consume blood, as you did during the medical examination? Naruto's face flushed with embarrassment. During one of the tests, a medical ninja had accidentally cut herself. The scent of blood had triggered something primal in Naruto, an overwhelming hunger that had made him lunge forward and lick the crimson droplets before anyone could stop him. The surge of energy that followed had been exhilarating, causing several small chainsaws to erupt from his back. It makes me stronger, Naruto admitted. Faster. And the chainsaws, they come out easier. Jiraiya and the Hokage exchanged troubled glances. What about your dream to become Hokage? The third asked suddenly. Has that changed? Naruto's eyes widened. No. Of course not. That's still my dream. The contract you described. Kakashi interjected. You said you gave this Pachita your dreams in exchange for its heart. What exactly does that mean? I don't know for sure, Naruto confessed. But I think it means Pachita wants to see my dreams come true. He wants to experience what it's like to be acknowledged, to be respected. The Hokage sat heavily in his chair, looking suddenly older. Naruto, I won't lie to you. This situation is dangerous. Perhaps more dangerous than your status as the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. This power you've acquired, it's unknown, unpredictable. What are you saying? Naruto asked, his chainsaw arm retracting back into normal flesh with a soft whir. That I'm more of a monster now. No, the Hokage said firmly. But you need training, specialized training to control this new ability. And we need to understand it better before you can safely rejoin your team. I can take the boy, Jiraiya offered. Train him away from the village until he has better control. I've studied enough sealing techniques to help him manage both the Nine-Tails and this new entity. Naruto's heart sank. Once again, he was being separated, treated as something dangerous that needed containment. Just when he'd finally found friends and recognition among his peers. How long? He asked, his voice small. A month, the Hokage decided. Until the rescheduled Chunin exams. If you can demonstrate control by then, you may participate with your team. Naruto nodded numbly. A month away from Konoha, away from Sakura and Sasuke, away from Ichiraku Ramen and the familiar streets he'd come to love despite the cold stares of villagers. But if it meant learning to control this new power, if it meant protecting his precious people from potential harm, he would do it. There's one more thing, the Hokage said, his tone grave. This power must remain secret for now. Orochimaru's interest in Sasuke is concerning enough. If you were to learn about your new abilities, you would become an even greater target. But Sasuke and Sakura already saw. They've been sworn to secrecy, Kakashi assured him. As far as the rest of the village knows, you're recovering from your injuries and then leaving for special training because of the Nine Tails. Naruto's shoulders slumped. More secrets, more lying? But he understood the necessity. If Orochimaru, or worse, the Akatsuki, learned about Pachita, they would stop at nothing to acquire such power. Okay, he agreed. When do we leave? Tonight, Jiraiya replied. Pack light. Where we're going, you won't need much. As Naruto turned to leave, the third Hokage called out one last question. Naruto, what does this chainsaw devil want? What is its ultimate goal? Naruto paused at the door, the strange hunger inside him pulsing in response to the question. An image flashed through his mind, a world cowering in fear, devils and demons fleeing at the mere mention of his name, a chainsaw revving with enough power to erase concepts from existence. I don't know. He lied, unnerved by the glimpse into Pachita's desires. But I won't let it control me. I'm still Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm going to be Hokage someday. Believe it. The door closed behind him, leaving the three men in troubled silence. He's lying, Jiraiya said finally. He knows more than he's telling us. Yes, the Hokage agreed. But the question is, does he realize how much he knows? Or is the devil influencing his thoughts already? Kakashi gazed out the window toward the hospital where his other two students waited. Either way, we need to be prepared for the worst. The Naruto who returns might not be the same boy who left. The forest clearing erupted in a symphony of mechanical roars as Naruto charged forward, chainsaws bursting from his arms, legs, and shoulders. Trees splintered beneath his onslaught, reduced to sawdust within seconds. The hunger inside him raged, demanding more destruction, more blood, more fuel for his engines. Enough! Jiraiya's voice cut through the chaos. Control it, Naruto! Don't let it control you! 2 weeks into their training, and Naruto still struggled to maintain his humanity when accessing Pachita's power. The transformations came easily now, too easily. But each time he summoned the chainsaws, the hunger grew stronger, more insistent. Naruto's breathing came in ragged gasps as he forced the mechanical limbs to retract. His skin knitted back together, leaving no evidence of the monstrous transformation. But inside, the hunger remained, a persistent ache that never fully subsided. I thought I had it that time, he muttered, collapsing onto a fallen log. It's getting stronger. Jiraiya approached cautiously, tossing him a water canteen. It is getting stronger. Or rather, it's becoming more integrated with your own chakra network. The boundary between you and it is blurring. What about Kurama? Naruto asked, taking a long drink. I still can't feel them properly. The Nine Tails is being suppressed. Jiraiya explained, settling down across from his student. This chainsaw devil, Pachita, seems to be dominant for now. But the Nine Tails won't stay dormant forever. Eventually, they'll have to find an equilibrium, Naruto groaned, rubbing his temples. The hunger was especially bad today. It gnawed at his insides like a ravenous beast, making it difficult to concentrate on anything else. Hey, pervy sage, he began hesitantly. What if we tried feeding it? Jiraiya's eyebrows shot up. Feeding? You mean blood? Naruto nodded uncomfortably. During the medical tests, when I tasted that nurse's blood, it felt better. The hunger went away for a while. That's a dangerous path, Naruto, Jiraiya warned. Indulging a devil's hunger only makes it stronger, more demanding. Today it's a drop of blood, tomorrow it could be something far worse. But what if we controlled it? Naruto pressed. Like specific amounts at specific times? Jiraiya considered this, his brow furrowed in thought. There might be a way, but it would require strict discipline on your part. And we need to establish clear boundaries. I can do it, Naruto insisted. If it helps me control this power, I'll do whatever it takes. The Sannin nodded slowly. All right. Let's try something. He produced a kunai from his pouch and made a small cut on his palm. Blood welled up, dark and tempting. Just a taste. Let's see what happens. Naruto hesitated, then leaned forward, his tongue darting out to lick the crimson droplets from Jiraiya's palm. The effect was immediate. A surge of energy coursed through him, the mechanical hum beneath his skin intensifying to a jubilant roar. The hunger quieted, replaced by a euphoric rush of power. "How do you feel?" Jiraiya asked, wrapping a bandage around his hand. "Amazing," Naruto breathed. "Like I could take on the whole Akatsuki by myself. Try accessing Pachita's power now." "Just a small transformation," Naruto nodded, focusing on his right arm. The transformation happened smoothly, painlessly, the flesh parting like liquid to reveal a sleek, perfectly calibrated chainsaw. But this time, Naruto felt completely in control. The hunger was sated, allowing his mind to remain clear. "It worked!" he exclaimed, examining the chainsaw with newfound appreciation. "I can feel every part of it, every gear and tooth. I can control the speed, the angle, everything, as I suspected," Jiraiya mused. "Blood acts as a catalyst, allowing you to synchronize with Pachita's power more effectively. But Naruto, this must be used sparingly. Only in emergencies or during controlled training sessions. I promise," Naruto said earnestly, retracting the chainsaw back into his arm. "I won't abuse it." But even as he spoke, a small voice in the back of his mind whispered that a single drop of blood wasn't enough. That the true extent of Pachita's power, the power to become the chainsaw devil in full, would require much more. "Let's try something else," Jiraiya suggested, unaware of Naruto's internal struggle. "Since your control is better now, let's see if you can communicate with Pachita directly." "How?" "Meditation. Similar to how you've attempted to communicate with the Nine Tails in the past," Naruto grimaced. His attempts to speak with Kurama had rarely gone well. The fox was typically hostile, brimming with ancient hatred and resentment. Would Pachita be any different? "Close your eyes," Jiraiya instructed. "Focus inward. Seek out that mechanical presence you described." Naruto complied, settling into a meditative pose. He closed his eyes, letting his consciousness drift inward, past the normal boundaries of his mind. Usually, this would lead him to the vast, flooded chamber where Kurama resided behind massive bars. But this time, he found himself in a different space entirely. It was a forest, not the lush, green forests of the Land of Fire, but something alien and twisted. The trees were black and jagged, their branches resembling serrated blades. The ground was metallic, vibrating subtly with a persistent hum. And the sky was red as blood, with strange, gear-like shapes rotating where the sun should be. "Pachita?" Naruto called out, his voice echoing strangely in this mindscape. A rustle of movement caught his attention. The small, mechanical fox emerged from between the blade-like trees, its crimson eyes gleaming with recognition. "Naruto," it acknowledged, its voice a metallic rasp. "You've finally come to visit. This place, is this part of me now?" Naruto asked, gesturing to the bizarre landscape. "This is where I'm from," Pachita explained. "A realm of devils and primal fears. I've recreated a small portion of it within your mindscape." "And Kurama? The Nine Tails? Still here," Pachita replied, gesturing with one paw toward a distant, cage-like structure barely visible beyond the twisted forest. "But our contract takes precedence for now." "My heart is what keeps you alive." Naruto took a step closer to the mechanical fox. "Why me? Why choose me for this contract?" Pachita's mechanical parts whirred softly, almost like a sigh. "Because you understand what it means to be feared. To be hated for what you are, not who you are. The Nine Tails has made you an outcast, just as being the chainsaw devil made me hunted. But what do you want?" Naruto pressed. "What's your goal?" "To survive," Pachita answered simply. "And to see your dreams come true. That was our contract, remember? My heart for your dreams, but the hunger is part of what I am," the fox interrupted. "All devils hunger for something. Mine is complicated," Naruto frowned. "I need to know what I'm dealing with here. If we're going to coexist, I have to understand what you want." Pachita regarded him silently for a long moment. "What I want is what all devils ultimately desire. To be feared. To be remembered. To exist in the minds of humans as something both terrible and necessary. That doesn't sound like just wanting to survive. Naruto observed. Survival takes many forms. Pachita replied cryptically. For a devil, being feared is the highest form of existence. Naruto considered this, unsettled by the implications. And what about my dreams? How do they fit into this? Your dream to be Hokage, to be acknowledged by everyone in your village, isn't that also a form of being remembered and feared? Respected, admired, even loved? It's not the same. Naruto protested. I want to protect people, not terrify them. Perhaps. Pachita's mechanical tail twitched. But power, true power, always inspires fear. And you now possess more power than any human in your world. Before Naruto could respond, a distant roar echoed through the twisted forest. A sound of rage and frustration that he recognized instantly. Kurama, he whispered, the Nine Tails grows restless. Pachita observed. He doesn't appreciate being relegated to the background. Eventually, you'll have to face him. And what will happen then? Can I control both of you? That, Pachita said, its mechanical mouth forming what might have been a smile. Will be entirely up to you, Naruto Uzumaki. But remember our contract. I gave you my heart. In return, you must show me your dreams. With that, the strange mindscape began to fade, the blade trees dissolving into mist, the metallic ground beneath his feet turning insubstantial. Naruto reached out toward Pachita, but the mechanical fox was already gone, leaving only the echo of its words hanging in the air. Remember our contract. Naruto's eyes snapped open, returning to the forest clearing where Jiraiya watched him with concern. You are in a deep trance, the Sannin noted. For a moment I thought we'd lost you. I spoke to Pachita, Naruto said, his voice trembling slightly. And I heard Kurama. They're both in there, pervy sage, and I don't think they're going to get along. Jiraiya's expression darkened. Then we need to accelerate your training. You have to establish dominance over both entities before they tear you apart from the inside. How? By becoming stronger than both of them. By mastering not just Pachita's power, but also the Nine Tails chakra. It won't be easy, Naruto. It might be the hardest thing you've ever done. Naruto looked down at his hands, remembering the chainsaws that lurked just beneath his skin, the hunger that never truly disappeared, and the mechanical fox with its cryptic words. But he also remembered his promise, to become Hokage, to protect his precious people, to make the world acknowledge him not as a monster, but as a hero. Let's do it, he said, meeting Jiraiya's gaze with renewed determination. I'm ready. The arena buzzed with anticipation as competitors and spectators alike gathered for the rescheduled Chunin exams. Among them stood Sasuke Uchiha, his dark eyes scanning the crowd for any sign of his missing teammate. Naruto had been gone for a month, supposedly training with the legendary Sannin Jiraiya, but rumors had swirled about the true nature of his absence. Whispers of a new power, of something inhuman awakening within the already feared Jinchuriki. He's cutting it close, Sakura murmured, standing beside Sasuke. The matches start in 20 minutes, HN. Sasuke grunted noncommittally, though his tension was evident in the tight set of his shoulders. He hadn't forgotten what he'd seen in the hospital room, the impossible chainsaw that had erupted from Naruto's forehead, the mechanical components beneath his skin. The image had burned itself into his memory, courtesy of his Sharingan. Do you think he's okay? Sakura asked hesitantly. After what we saw, he's Naruto, Sasuke replied, as if that explained everything. And in a way it did. Naruto had always been resilient, unpredictable, and stubborn to a fault. Whatever strange power he had acquired, Sasuke had no doubt that the blonde knucklehead would find a way to control it. Look! Sakura suddenly pointed toward the arena entrance. Two figures emerged from the shadows, one tall and imposing with long white hair, the other smaller but radiating a strange presence that seemed to distort the air around him. Naruto had returned, but something about him had changed. His movements were more precise, his stance more confident. And his eyes, even from a distance, Sasuke could see that the usual vibrant blue had acquired an unnatural gleam, like polished metal catching the light. That's Naruto? Sakura whispered, her brow furrowing in confusion. As if hearing her, Naruto's head turned in their direction. A smile spread across his face. That same goofy, wide grin that had always been his trademark. He bounded toward them with his usual energy, waving enthusiastically. "Sakura-chan!" "Sasuke!" he called out, skidding to a halt before them. "Did you miss me?" Up close, the changes were even more apparent. Naruto's wild blonde hair had grown longer, with strange red streaks running through it. His whisker marks seemed deeper, more pronounced. And when he smiled, there was an edge to it, something sharp and dangerous lurking just beneath the surface. "Idiot," Sasuke muttered, though there was no real malice in his tone. "We thought you might not make it, and missed the chance to show off my new skills?" "No way." Naruto laughed, but the sound had a metallic quality to it that made Sakura flinch slightly. "Naruto," she began cautiously. "Are you feeling okay?" "You seem different." Naruto's expression softened. "I'm still me, Sakura-chan. Just upgraded a bit. Pervy Sage helped me get a handle on my new abilities. And the thing we saw?" Sasuke asked, keeping his voice low. "The chainsaw? Under control," Naruto assured them, though his eyes flickered briefly to a vibrant crimson before returning to blue. "Mostly. As long as I'm not in serious danger, it stays dormant." Before either of his teammates could respond, a voice crackled over the arena's loudspeakers announcing the start of the matches. The competitors were called to the center of the arena for the opening ceremony. "Gotta go," Naruto said cheerfully. "Wish me luck. I'm facing that sand ninja, Gaara, in the first round." As he bounded away, Sasuke and Sakura exchanged worried glances. "Gaara," Sasuke repeated, a chill running down his spine. "The one with the sand techniques and the bloodlust. Naruto might be in serious trouble." Sakura murmured. "That Gaara, there's something wrong with him. I've seen the way he looks at people, like he's imagining how they die." "Maybe," Sasuke said quietly. "But I'm not sure Naruto is the one we should be worried about anymore." The match between Naruto and Gaara was scheduled as the third fight of the day. Naruto watched from the competitor's box as the first two matches unfolded, studying techniques and strategies with a newfound analytical eye, a gift from Pachita, whose perception of battle dynamics was preternatural. But his focus was drawn repeatedly to the silent figure standing in the far corner of the box, Gaara of the desert, with his blood-red hair and the massive gourd on his back. There was something about the sand ninja that called to Naruto's new senses, something familiar yet alien. A hunger not unlike his own. "He's like me," Naruto realized with a start. "A Jinchuriki. But his seal is different, unstable. His bijou is closer to the surface." This knowledge hadn't come from his own experience, or from Jiraiya's teachings. It had bubbled up from Pachita's consciousness, a devil's instinct for recognizing other supernatural entities. "You smell it too, don't you?" a quiet voice asked from beside him. Naruto turned to find Gaara standing there, his pale green eyes fixed on him with unsettling intensity. The blood calling to blood, Naruto swallowed hard, feeling Pachita stir within him, responding to the proximity of another powerful entity. "You're like me," he said quietly. "A container." Gaara's eyes narrowed fractionally. "Yes. But I am one with my demon." "Can you say the same, Uzumaki Naruto?" Sand hissed from Gaara's gourd, curling around his feet like a living thing. Naruto felt the mechanical hum beneath his skin intensify, resonating with the threat. "We'll find out soon enough," Naruto replied, a hint of chainsaw growl underlying his words. The proctor's voice rang out, calling Naruto and Gaara to the arena. As they descended the stairs, a strange anticipation filled the air, something electric and dangerous that even the civilian spectators could sense. In the Kage's viewing box, the third Hokage exchanged concerned glances with Jiraiya, who had positioned himself nearby. "Is he ready for this?" the Hokage murmured. "Gaara of the desert is unstable, and his control over the One Tail is tenuous at best. Naruto's control has improved tremendously," Jiraiya replied, though his expression remained troubled. "But this will be his first real combat situation since merging with the Chainsaw Devil. Theory and training are one thing, battle is another, and if he loses control..." Jiraiya's hand strayed to a special seal tag hidden in his robe. a failsafe designed to temporarily suppress both the Ninetales and the Chainsaw Devil if necessary. Then I'll intervene. But let's have faith in the boy. He surpassed my expectations at every turn. Down in the arena, Naruto and Gaara faced each other as the proctor explained the rules. Around them, the audience buzzed with anticipation. Many had come to see the Uchiha prodigy fight, but rumors about the demon brat of Konoha had sparked curiosity. Few knew what to expect from Naruto, who had always been dismissed as the dead last of his academy class. "Begin!" the proctor shouted, leaping clear of the combatants. Gaara didn't move, his arms crossed over his chest as his sand swirled around him in a defensive barrier. His expression remained impassive, but his eyes gleamed with anticipation. "Come," he said simply. "Show me if your existence is worth validating." Naruto assessed his opponent carefully. Direct attacks would be countered by the automatic sand defense. Ninjutsu might be more effective, but he needed to gauge the extent of Gaara's abilities first. He formed the familiar hand sign calling out, "Shadow Clone Jutsu!" A dozen Naruto clones poofed into existence, surrounding Gaara in a circle. They charged simultaneously, attacking from all angles with kunai and shuriken. As expected, the sand responded instantly, creating a spherical shield that blocked every projectile. But Naruto watched carefully, noting the pattern of the sand's movement, its speed, its density. Within him, Pachita stirred, processing the same information. "The sand has limited range," came the mechanical fox's observation, speaking directly to Naruto's mind for the first time since their training began. "And it prioritizes vital areas. The defense is automatic but not omniscient." The clones continued their assault, forcing Gaara's sand to react continuously. One clone managed to get closer than the others, its foot almost connecting with Gaara's face before being crushed by a tendril of sand. But that momentary success was enough. Naruto had seen the pattern, the weakness. "Is this all?" Gaara asked, his voice laced with disappointment. "I expected more from someone who carries a burden similar to mine." Naruto smiled grimly. "Just warming up." With a sudden burst of speed, enhanced by Pachita's influence, Naruto charged forward himself, zigzagging to confuse the sand's tracking. At the last moment, he dropped into a slide, passing beneath the main wave of defensive sand. His hand shot out, fingers brushing against Gaara's ankle before the sand could respond. The touch lasted less than a second, but it was enough. Naruto leapt away, blood smeared on his fingertips. Blood drawn from a small cut that one of his clones had managed to inflict on Gaara's leg during the confusion. The taste was electric on Naruto's tongue as he licked the crimson droplets from his fingers. But this was different from human blood. This carried the essence of both Gaara and Shikaku, the one-tailed beast. Power surged through Naruto's system, the mechanical hum rising to a fever pitch. The hunger roared to life, demanding more. "Blood!" Gaara whispered, noticing the small wound with shock. "My blood." "Mother is displeased." Sand exploded outward in a violent wave, forcing spectators in the lower rows to scramble backward. Naruto stood his ground, feeling the transformation beginning to overtake him. Red chakra seeped from his skin, but unlike the Ninetales chakra, this had a metallic sheen to it, gleaming like freshly oiled gears. "Yes," Gaara hissed, his eyes widening with manic excitement. "Show me your true self." Naruto fought to maintain control, to keep the transformation partial rather than complete. Chainsaw blades erupted from his forearms, the skin splitting open to reveal the gleaming metal beneath. The engines revved, filling the arena with their mechanical roar. In the stands, Sasuke activated his Sharingan, memorizing every detail of the transformation. Beside him, Sakura gasped, her hands covering her mouth in shock. Across the arena, other shinobi reactions varied from horror to fascination, particularly from the sand and sound ninja, whose interest seemed more calculating than fearful. "What is this?" Gaara demanded, a hint of genuine emotion breaking through his usual monotone. "You are not a Jinchuriki alone. What else lives within you? Something that hungers." Naruto replied, his voice distorted by the engines rumbling beneath his flesh. "Just like your mother. But mine wants more than blood." He charged again, the chainsaws on his arms spinning at impossible speeds. Gaara's sand rose to meet him, hardening into spikes and barriers. But the chainsaws tore through the sand constructs like they were paper, shredding the supposedly impenetrable defense into useless particles. Gaara's eyes widened with the first hint of fear. Impossible! Nothing's impossible anymore. Naruto growled, closing the distance. The chainsaws connected with Gaara's sand armor, sending cracked spiderwebbing across its surface. Beneath the crumbling exterior, Naruto caught a glimpse of pale, vulnerable skin. For the first time in his life, Gaara felt true, physical pain. He screamed, a sound of both agony and exhilaration, as blood trickled from the shallow wound on his cheek. Yes! He shrieked, his composure shattering completely. This is what it means to be alive! Sand swirled around him in a frenzy, lifting him off the ground. His features began to distort, his right arm elongating and taking on the appearance of a monstrous, tanuki-like limb. The transformation had begun. Shikaku was emerging. In the Kage's viewing box, the third Hokage stood abruptly. Jiraiya, not yet, the Sannin interrupted, his eyes fixed on Naruto. Let's see how he handles this. He needs to learn his limits. Down in the arena, Naruto felt Pachita's presence expanding within him, responding to the threat of another powerful entity. More chainsaws erupted from his back, shoulders, and legs. His jawbone split open, revealing a chainsaw that extended from his mouth like a grotesque tongue. More, Pachita urged within his mind. Give me more control. Let me show you what the chainsaw devil can really do. Naruto hesitated, remembering Jiraiya's warnings about surrendering too much control. But Gaara was transforming rapidly, his killing intent filling the arena like a suffocating cloud. The One-Tail's emergence would put everyone in danger. Sakura, Sasuke, all the innocent spectators, just enough to stop him. Naruto muttered to himself. Not a complete transformation. He reached inward, relaxing the mental barriers that kept Pachita partially restrained. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Naruto's entire body convulsed as chainsaw engines erupted from every limb. His head transformed, the top of his skull opening to reveal a massive chainsaw that roared with power. His arms elongated, the muscles reconfiguring into intricate machinery that hummed with lethal precision. Blood and oil mixed together, coating his transformed body in a slick, crimson sheen. In the stands, people began to scream and flee. This was no longer a Chunin exam match. It was a clash between monsters. Gaara, now half transformed into Shikaku, laughed maniacally. Yes! This is what I've waited for. Someone who understands the true meaning of existence. To kill or be killed. The partially transformed Naruto didn't respond with words. Instead, the array of chainsaws covering his body revved in unison, creating a symphony of mechanical destruction that echoed throughout the arena. He charged forward, moving with impossible speed despite his monstrous appearance. Gaara met him head-on, his sand arm swinging with enough force to crush stone. But the chainsaw sliced through it effortlessly, reducing the hardened sand to dust. Naruto pressed the advantage, his chainsaw limbs tearing into Gaara's transforming body with relentless precision. Blood and sand mixed in the air, creating a grotesque mist that obscured the combatants from view. The screams from the audience intensified as the cloud grew larger, punctuated by the sound of chainsaws and bestial roars. In his mindscape, Naruto struggled to maintain some semblance of control. Pachita's influence was overwhelming, the devil's hunger for battle and blood nearly irresistible. This is what you are now. Pachita's voice resonated through him. The perfect weapon. The ultimate predator. Even demons feared the chainsaw devil. No, Naruto fought back. This isn't why I made the contract. I wanted strength to protect, not to terrify. Are they not one and the same? Pachita countered. Look how your enemy falters. Look how his demon cowers before our might. It was true. Despite Shikaku's legendary power, Gaara was being pushed back, his transformation stalling as Naruto's chainsaws relentlessly shredded his defenses. Blood streamed from multiple wounds, real pain piercing through Gaara's usual emotional numbness. Enough! A voice suddenly commanded, cutting through the chaos. Jiraiya stood at the edge of the arena, hands forming a complex series of seals. Naruto, regain control now, or I'll activate the suppression seal. Naruto heard the warning through Pachita's bloodlust, a lifeline back to his humanity. With tremendous effort, he began to pull back, forcing the chainsaws to retract, struggling to reassert dominance over the devil's hunger. They fear our power, Pachita protested. We could eliminate this Jinchuriki completely. Consume his demon. Grow stronger. That's not who I am. Naruto gritted out, feeling his body slowly returning to human form. And that's not our contract. You wanted to see my dreams, not impose your own. The tension in the mindscape was palpable as devil and host battled for control. Finally, Pachita relented, the chainsaws retracting with mechanical sighs of disappointment. Our contract stands, the mechanical fox acknowledged reluctantly. But remember, Naruto Uzumaki, you've tasted what true power feels like now. You've felt the exhilaration of being feared, of being unstoppable. In the physical world, Naruto stood panting in the center of the arena, his body human once more though splattered with blood, both his own and Gaara's. Across from him, Gaara had also regressed to his human form, though his sand armor was cracked and dissolving in places, revealing the vulnerable boy beneath. Why? Gaara demanded, his voice hoarse with confusion. Why did you stop? You could have killed me. Proving your existence by erasing mine, Naruto met his fellow Jinchuriki's gaze steadily. Because that's not why I exist. I fight to protect, not to destroy. And someday, I'll protect this entire village as Hokage. Gaara stared at him in bewilderment, unable to comprehend such a mindset. Before he could respond, Jonin from both Konoha and the Sand rushed into the arena. The match was clearly over, though no official outcome had been declared. Winner by technical knockout, Naruto Uzumaki. The proctor announced hesitantly, maintaining a noticeable distance from both combatants. As medical ninja cautiously approached to treat the wounded fighters, Naruto caught Jiraiya's approving nod from the sidelines. He had passed the test, not just by defeating a powerful opponent, but by maintaining his humanity in the face of Pachita's overwhelming influence. But as he was led from the arena, Naruto couldn't shake the lingering sensation of the chainsaws beneath his skin, eager to emerge once more. The hunger hadn't disappeared. It had merely been temporarily sated, and deep within him, both Pachita and Kurama stirred restlessly, two immensely powerful entities watching and waiting for their next opportunity to surface. The Chunin exams ended abruptly following the explosive match between Naruto and Gaara. What should have been a simple tournament transformed into capes when Sand and Sound Ninja launched a coordinated attack on Konoha, revealing the entire event as a cover for invasion. Naruto found himself pressed back into action almost immediately, despite the exhaustion of his battle with Gaara. As alarms blared throughout the village, he regrouped with Sasuke and Sakura under Kakashi's command. The village is under attack from multiple fronts, Kakashi explained tersely, his visible eye surveying the destruction already spreading through Konoha's streets. Orochimaru appears to be leading the invasion personally. He's engaged the third Hokage at the arena. What about Gaara? Naruto asked, remembering the unstable Sand Jinchuriki. He's been extracted by his siblings. Kakashi replied. Reports suggest they're heading toward the village outskirts. Given his partial transformation during your match, there's concern that they're planning to release the One Tail fully. Naruto finished grimly. A bijou attacking from outside while their forces hit us from within. Kakashi nodded, momentarily surprised by Naruto's tactical assessment. The boy had changed during his month of training, not just physically, but mentally. There was a sharpness to him now, an awareness that hadn't been there before. Naruto, Kakashi said, his voice dropping to ensure only Team 7 could hear. Given your unique abilities, you may be the only one who can stop Gaara if he fully transforms. I'll go after him. Naruto agreed immediately. Not alone. Sasuke interjected, stepping forward. I'm coming too, so am I. Sakura added, though fear flickered across her face at the prospect of confronting the monstrous Sand Ninja again. Kakashi hesitated, then nodded. Very well. Team 7 will pursue Gaara and his siblings. Prevent the full release of the One Tail at all costs. I'll coordinate the village defenses here with the other Jonin. What about the Hokage? Naruto asked, concern evident in his voice. If Orochimaru is involved, the Hokage is handling that threat, Kakashi assured him, though his tone lacked conviction. Your mission is Gaara. Now go! Team 7 departed immediately, leaping across rooftops toward the village wall where sentries had reported seeing the Sand siblings fleeing. As they traveled, the sounds of battle echoed across Konoha. Explosions, screams, the clash of steel against steel. Naruto, Sasuke said as they ran. That power you used against Gaara, can you control it? Mostly. Naruto replied honestly, feeling Pachita's presence humming beneath his skin, responding to the chaos and bloodshed around them. As long as I don't go full devil, I can maintain control. Full devil? Sakura questioned, eyes wide. What does that mean? You don't want to know. Naruto muttered, remembering the glimpses Pachita had shown him during their training. The true form of the Chainsaw Devil. A nightmare of mechanical fury and insatiable hunger that consumed everything in its path. They passed through a breached section of the village wall, entering the dense forest surrounding Konoha. Fresh sand traces on the trees confirmed they were on the right track. They're moving fast, Sasuke observed, his Sharingan activated to track the subtle signs of passage. But Gaara is slowing them down. His transformation must be progressing. No sooner had he spoken than a tremendous crash echoed through the forest ahead, followed by an inhuman roar that made the very air vibrate. The team halted on a high branch, surveying the scene below. In a newly formed clearing, created by the violent destruction of trees, stood a partially transformed Gaara. One half of his body had become a grotesque amalgamation of sand and tanuki features, while the other remained human, twisted in pain. Beside him, his siblings Temari and Kankuro stood with expressions of horror and resignation. It's happening again, Temari whispered, audible even at Team 7's distance. He can't control it anymore. We need to get further from the village, Kankuro urged, tugging at his sister's arm. If Shikaku emerges completely here, too late, Gaara growled, his voice distorted and overlaid with another, more monstrous tone. I smell them. The one who hurt me, the one with the devil inside him. His transformed eye swiveled upward, locking directly onto Naruto's position. A grin split his face, literally, as the human side cracked open to reveal more of the beast within. Uzumaki Naruto, he bellowed. Come to die! Sand erupted around him in a violent cyclone, forcing Temari and Kankuro to retreat. The transformation accelerated, Gaara's human form disappearing beneath a rapidly growing mass of sand that took on a distinctive tanuki shape, complete with blue markings and a massive tail. We need to stop him before the transformation completes, Naruto said urgently. Sasuke, can you slow him down with your fire techniques? Sakura, stay back as support and watch for the Sand siblings. They might interfere. Since when do you give the orders? Sasuke muttered, though there was less bite in his tone than usual. He recognized the strategic sense in Naruto's plan, since I became part chainsaw. Naruto replied with a grim smile. Trust me on this one, Sasuke. We need to work together. Sasuke nodded, his hands already forming seals. Fire style. Great fireball jutsu. A massive sphere of flame shot toward the transforming Gaara, impacting with explosive force against the sand body. The heat was intense enough to vitrify portions of the sand, temporarily slowing the transformation as Shikaku's body partially solidified. Naruto seized the opportunity, launching himself directly at the monstrous figure. As he flew through the air, chainsaws erupted from his arms and legs, their engines roaring to life. The hunger inside him surged, responding to the proximity of another powerful entity. But this time, Naruto was prepared. He channeled the bloodlust, directing it toward a specific purpose rather than letting it consume him. Naruto! Gaara/Shikaku bellowed, sand tendrils whipping toward the approaching threat. Show me your devil again! You asked for it! Naruto shouted back, his body twisting in midair to avoid the sand attacks. The chainsaw on his right arm connected with Shikaku's partially solidified shoulder, cutting through it with a shower of sparks and sand. Gaara screamed, a sound of both pain and perverse pleasure. Yes! This feeling! Mother wants your blood! More sand erupted from the wound, attempting to envelop Naruto and crush him. But the chainsaws buzzed through each attack, their teeth seemingly sharper and more efficient against this supernatural threat than they had been against normal materials. From his position in the trees, Sasuke watched in astonishment as Naruto battled the transforming Bijou. This was not the clumsy, loudmouth dead last from the academy. This was something else entirely. A perfect fusion of human determination and demonic power. Moving with deadly precision, an opportunity presented itself when Naruto severed one of Shikaku's sand arms completely, momentarily throwing the beast off balance. Sasuke immediately capitalized, launching a barrage of lightning-infused shuriken that embedded themselves in the Biju's body. Chidori Senbon, the electrical discharge caused more sand to vitrify, further impeding Shikaku's movements. Naruto and Sasuke had found a rhythm, coordinating their attacks without needing to communicate verbally, a testament to their growth as teammates despite the month of separation. But Gaara was far from defeated. As more of his consciousness surrendered to Shikaku, his attacks became more ferocious, more unpredictable. A massive wave of sand erupted from the ground beneath Team 7's position, forcing them to scatter. "We can't let him complete the transformation," Naruto called out, narrowly avoiding being crushed by a sand fist. "Once Shikaku takes full control, even these chainsaws might not be enough." "There!" Sasuke pointed to a small, reddish figure visible within the increasingly massive sand body. "Gaara himself. He's the control point," Naruto nodded, understanding immediately. In his training with Jiraiya, he'd learned about the different sealing techniques used for Biju across the shinobi nations. Gaara's seal was notoriously weak, allowing Shikaku much greater influence over its host. "Cover me!" Naruto shouted, retracting his chainsaws momentarily to form a familiar hand sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu! Dozens of Naruto clones poofed into existence, each immediately transforming partial limbs into chainsaws. They swarmed toward Shikaku from all directions, a veritable chainsaw army that forced the sand beast to divide its attention. Meanwhile, the real Naruto circled behind, approaching from a blind spot. Inside him, Pachita stirred with anticipation. "He's like us," the mechanical fox observed. "A human and a monster trying to coexist. But his balance is all wrong. His demon consumes him rather than empowering him. Then let's wake him up," Naruto muttered, launching himself directly at the exposed Gaara within the sand construct. Shikaku roared in fury as it sensed the attack on its host, sand rushing to intercept. But Sasuke's precisely timed fire jutsu created a momentary opening, just enough for Naruto to slip through. As he approached Gaara, Naruto did something unexpected. Rather than attacking with his chainsaws, he retracted them completely, returning to his fully human form. He reached out with his bare hand and grabbed Gaara's shoulder, establishing direct contact. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Both boys gasped as their consciousness connected, Jinchuriki to Jinchuriki, devil to demon. In that moment of connection, Naruto found himself in a strange mindscape, not his own, nor entirely Gaara's. It was a liminal space where all four entities briefly coexisted: Naruto, Gaara, Pachita, and Shikaku. The one tail loomed massive and threatening, its yellow eyes fixed on Pachita with surprised hostility. "What is this? Another devil dares to challenge me in my domain?" Pachita, appearing in his mechanical fox form, seemed unimpressed by the Biju's grandstanding. "Your domain? This boy is your prison, not your kingdom. You've confused the relationship." "Silence!" Shikaku bellowed, sand swirling around its massive form. "I am the great Shikaku, the one tail. This vessel exists to serve my needs. That's where you're wrong," Naruto interjected, stepping forward alongside Pachita. He turned to Gaara, who appeared as a small, frightened child in this mindscape. "Gaara, you've been listening to Shikaku's lies your whole life. A Jinchuriki isn't just a vessel or a weapon. We're still human." "Human?" Gaara's childlike form whispered, the concept seemingly foreign. "I've never been treated as human. Only as a weapon, a monster. I know exactly how that feels," Naruto replied with genuine empathy. "But it doesn't have to define you. Look at me. I have both the nine tails and Pachita inside me, but I'm still Naruto Uzumaki. I still have dreams, bonds, a future." "Lies!" Shikaku snarled, lashing out with a sand tendril that Pachita intercepted, the mechanical fox's teeth gleaming as they severed the attack effortlessly. "See how afraid he is of you finding your own path," Pachita observed, mechanical parts whirring softly. A truly powerful entity doesn't need to control through fear. That's the refuge of the weak. In the physical world, the massive sand construct of Shikaku had frozen in place, its transformation stalled by the strange connection between the two hosts. Sasuke and Sakura watched in tense silence, unsure of what was happening but recognizing the critical moment. Within the shared mindscape, Gaara's childlike form approached Naruto cautiously. You're like me, but you're not consumed by hatred. How? Because I found people precious to me. Naruto explained, thinking of Iruka, Team 7, Jiraiya, and the others who had acknowledged him despite the Nine Tails. And I made a different contract with Pachita, one of mutual benefit, not domination. A contract? Gaara glanced at the mechanical fox, then back at Naruto. My heart for his dreams. Pachita explained simply. I gave him power. He gives me purpose. Could I? Gaara hesitated, glancing fearfully at the raging Shikaku. Could I make such a contract with the One-Tail? Never! Shikaku roared, thrashing wildly. You are mine, Gaara! Mine alone! But something had changed in Gaara's demeanor. A spark of hope, of possibility that had never existed before. He straightened, his childlike form aging until he stood as his true self. No, he said firmly, meeting Shikaku's gaze without flinching. I am Gaara of the desert. I am the one in control. The mindscape shuddered as Gaara's will asserted itself for the first time against the Biju's domination. Shikaku howled in rage and denial, but Naruto could see the sands of power shifting. This is your mind, Naruto encouraged. Your body. Your life. You can renegotiate the terms. As Gaara began to assert control, the shared mindscape started to dissolve, each entity returning to their proper place. The last thing Naruto saw before the connection broke was Pachita nodding to him with something like respect in those mechanical eyes. In the physical world, Naruto stumbled backward as the link severed. Before him, Shikaku's massive form began to crumble, sand cascading to the ground in great waves. At its center, Gaara reappeared, falling to his knees but fully human once more. What did you do to me? Gaara gasped, clutching his head. The kanji for love on his forehead seemed to pulse briefly before settling. Showed you another way. Naruto replied simply, his own body trembling from the strain of the connection. You don't have to be defined by what's inside you, Gaara. Naruto! Sasuke called out, landing beside him with kunai drawn, still wary of Gaara despite his apparent defeat. What happened? I reached him, Naruto said with a weary smile. Jinchuriki to Jinchuriki. I think he'll be okay now. Before Sasuke could respond, a tremendous explosion echoed from the direction of Konoha. All four ninja turned to see a massive, three-headed snake summon crashing through the village's defensive wall. The invasion. Sakura gasped, joining her teammates. It's getting worse. We need to go back, Naruto said firmly, already moving despite his exhaustion. The village needs us. To everyone's surprise, Gaara spoke up. Wait. I want to help. What? Temari and Kankuro exclaimed in unison, emerging cautiously from their hiding places. This invasion. Gaara continued, struggling to his feet. It's wrong. We were manipulated. All of us. Orochimaru isn't allied with our father. He's impersonating him. How do you know this? Sasuke demanded. Shikaku knew. Gaara replied, his voice steadying. The Biju can sense certain things. Orochimaru's scent. It was on both our Kazekage and on himself. Our father is already dead. The revelation stunned the Sand siblings into silence. Naruto, however, was already thinking ahead. If you want to help, then help, he said simply. But we need to move now. As they raced back toward Konoha, Naruto felt Pachita's presence stirring with renewed energy. The brief connection with Shikaku had affected the mechanical fox somehow, making its presence more distinct, more defined within Naruto's consciousness. We're going to face more powerful enemies, Pachita observed. That snake man reeks of death and forbidden techniques. He's been tampering with powers that even devils approach cautiously. Orochimaru, Naruto confirmed mentally. One of the legendary Sannin, like pervy sage. But he went rogue, became obsessed with immortality and forbidden jutsu. He smells wrong, Pachita continued. Not fully human anymore. And not devil either. Something in between that shouldn't exist. Naruto frowned at this assessment as they approached the village. Orochimaru had always been dangerous, but Pachida's reaction suggested something even more sinister than a rogue ninja with forbidden techniques. Whatever awaited them in Konoha, Naruto knew that the true test of his control over the Chainsaw Devil's power was yet to come. The sight that greeted Team 7 as they re-entered Konoha was one of chaos and destruction. Buildings lay in ruins, fires raged unchecked, and battles between Leaf Shinobi and invaders erupted across every district. But most alarming was the massive purple barrier visible atop the Hokage Tower, where flashes of catastrophic jutsu indicated a battle of legendary proportions. The Hokage. Naruto breathed, instinctively moving toward the barrier. "We can't help there," Sasuke said grimly, grabbing his teammate's arm. "That barrier is an elite technique. We need to focus where we can make a difference." "He's right," Sakura added, pointing toward a section of the village where civilians were being evacuated under attack. "The academy students and civilian shelters need protection." Naruto nodded reluctantly, tearing his gaze from the distant barrier. Beside them, Gaara and his siblings had arrived, drawing suspicious looks from nearby Leaf Ninja. "We're helping," Gaara announced firmly, sand swirling around him in a controlled, purposeful manner unlike his previous rampages. Orochimaru deceived the Sand Village. "We were never true allies to this invasion." The Leaf Ninjas seemed skeptical but were in no position to refuse assistance. With a nod, they directed the reinforcements toward the civilian evacuation routes where Sound Ninja had broken through. As they moved through the battle-torn streets, Naruto felt a strange sensation building within him. The air was thick with the scent of blood, the sounds of battle, the raw emotions of fear and rage and determination. Pachida stirred restlessly, drinking it all in, growing more excited with each passing moment. "So much fear," the mechanical fox observed with something like satisfaction. "Can you feel it, Naruto? This is what devils thrive on, the primal terror of humans facing their mortality." "Not helping," Naruto muttered aloud, causing Sasuke to glance at him questioningly. Naruto shook his head. "Talking to my tenant." "Which one?" Sasuke asked shrewdly. "The chainsaw one," Naruto admitted. "He's getting enthusiastic about all this." Sasuke's eyes narrowed. "Keep it under control. We need your power, but not if it means you lose yourself to it." The sentiment surprised Naruto, a rare moment of concern from his usually aloof rival. Before he could respond, screams erupted from ahead as a group of Sound Ninja cornered evacuation teams escorting academy students. "There!" Sakura pointed, already moving toward the civilians. Team 7 and the Sand siblings launched into action. Gaara's sand surged forward, creating a protective barrier between the attackers and civilians. Temari unleashed devastating wind techniques to scatter the enemy formations, while Kankuro's puppets engaged in close-quarters combat. Sasuke moved with blinding speed, his Sharingan predicting enemy movements before they occurred. Sakura positioned herself with the evacuation teams, organizing their defense with surprising tactical skill. And Naruto stood at the front lines, feeling Pachida's power building within him like a gathering storm. The hunger gnawed at his insides, demanding release, demanding blood. "Just enough," he whispered to himself, allowing partial transformations to begin. Chainsaws erupted from his forearms, their teeth gleaming in the smoke-filtered sunlight. The mechanical roar filled the street, causing the Sound Ninja to falter momentarily in surprise. "What the hell is that?" one of them exclaimed, eyes widening at the sight of Naruto's transformed limbs. "Your worst nightmare," Naruto growled, his voice overlaid with mechanical reverberations. He charged forward, chainsaws spinning at impossible speeds. The first Sound Ninja raised a kunai in defense, a futile gesture as the chainsaw tore through metal, flesh, and bone in a single pass. Blood sprayed across Naruto's face, and he felt Pachida surge with delight, drinking in the sensation. The remaining Sound Ninja backed away in horror as their comrade fell in two pieces to the ground. This was not the traditional combat they were trained for. This was slaughter, pure and simple. "Demon!" one of them hissed, hands trembling as they formed seals. "Sound release, shockwave barrage!" Concentrated sound blasts ripped through the air toward Naruto, powerful enough to rupture internal organs. But Naruto didn't dodge. Instead, a new chainsaw burst from his chest, its rotation creating a counter-frequency that neutralized the sound waves completely. "We can adapt to anything," Pachita's voice purred in Naruto's mind. "Let me show you more. Let me have more control." The temptation was overwhelming. Naruto could feel how easy it would be to surrender fully to Pachita's power, to transform completely into the Chainsaw Devil and end this battle in seconds. The hunger burned within him, amplified by the taste of blood already on his lips. A child's terrified sob cut through his bloodlust. Naruto glanced back to see a young academy student, no older than 6, staring at him with wide, frightened eyes. The same eyes that had followed Naruto throughout his childhood in the village, the eyes that had labeled him monster and demon long before he knew why. "I'm not a monster," Naruto said firmly, as much to himself as to Pachita. "I'm a shinobi of the leaf." With renewed focus, Naruto channeled the devil's power with precision rather than abandonment. The chainsaws remained, but now they moved with calculated efficiency instead of wild bloodlust. He cut through enemy weapons rather than bodies when possible, disabled rather than dismembered, protected rather than merely destroyed. Sasuke noticed the change immediately, his Sharingan capturing the subtle shift in Naruto's fighting style. "He's learning," he murmured to himself, impressed despite his competitive nature. The combined efforts of Team 7 and the Sand siblings quickly turned a tide. The Sound Ninja retreated, their formation broken and their confidence shattered by the sight of Naruto's chainsaws and Gaara's controlled sand techniques. As the civilians were safely redirected to the shelters, Kakashi appeared in a swirl of leaves, his Sharingan exposed and his uniform splattered with blood. "Good work," he acknowledged, taking in the unusual alliance before him. His gaze lingered briefly on Naruto's transformed arms, which were slowly retracting back to human form. "The situation has changed. We need to regroup." "What's happening at the Hokage Tower?" Naruto demanded, gesturing toward the purple barrier that still glowed ominously in the distance. Kakashi's expression darkened. "The third is battling Orochimaru personally. But there's more. We've received intelligence that this invasion has a secondary objective. Orochimaru doesn't just want to destroy Konoha. He wants to capture specific individuals." "Sasuke," Naruto realized immediately, remembering Orochimaru's interest in the Uchiha bloodline. "Yes," Kakashi confirmed. "But also you, Naruto." "Me?" Naruto's surprise was genuine. "Why? We believe Orochimaru witnessed your battle with Gaara. Your new abilities would be of great interest to someone obsessed with obtaining all forms of jutsu and power." Naruto felt a chill that had nothing to do with Pachita's presence. The thought of Orochimaru seeking to experiment on him, to potentially extract the Chainsaw Devil for his own purposes, was deeply disturbing. "He cannot have me," Pachita growled internally, the mechanical fox's protective instinct flaring. "Devils cannot be controlled through human techniques. We make contracts while we devour. There is no middle ground." "What's the plan?" Sasuke asked, instinctively moving closer to his teammates in a defensive formation. "We've established a counteroffensive coordinated by Jiraiya and the remaining Jonin," Kakashi explained. "But for you three, and our sand allies, I have a different mission." He lowered his voice, ensuring only their small group could hear. "We've detected a specialized team of Sound Ninja moving through the Eastern District. They're led by someone matching the description of Kabuto Yakushi, Orochimaru's right hand. Intelligence suggests they're carrying equipment for sealing and containment, likely meant for capturing Jinchuriki or other special assets. They're hunting us," Gaara stated flatly, sand swirling around his feet in agitation. "Precisely," Kakashi confirmed. "Which is why you're going to hunt them instead. Take out this team, and we eliminate Orochimaru's ability to achieve his secondary objective, even if the invasion itself continues." "An ambush," Sasuke mused, his tactical mind already working through scenarios. "Exactly. Use your unique abilities to your advantage, but remember, Kabuto is not to be underestimated. He's a medical ninja with combat skills that rival many Jonin." Naruto nodded, feeling Pachita stir with anticipation. "When do we move?" "No," Kakashi said, gesturing toward the Eastern District. I'll provide a distraction to draw attention away from your approach. The rest is up to you. As Kakashi disappeared in another swirl of leaves, Team 7 and the Sand siblings exchanged determined glances. Unlikely allies united by a common enemy. Let's go hunting, Naruto said, a hint of chainsaw growl underlying his words. The eastern district of Konoha had suffered less damage than other areas, making it eerily quiet compared to the chaos elsewhere in the village. Team 7 moved silently across rooftops, with the Sand siblings following close behind. Sasuke took point, his Sharingan scanning for any sign of Kabuto's team. There, he whispered finally, halting behind a water tower. Four Sound Ninja, moving in standard diamond formation. Kabuto's at the center, carrying some kind of specialized equipment. Naruto peered down at the targets. Kabuto's distinctive silver hair and glasses were visible even from their elevation. The equipment he carried appeared to be a complex arrangement of scrolls, vials, and what looked disturbingly like surgical tools. What's the play? Temari asked, adjusting her massive fan in preparation. We need to separate Kabuto from his support team, Sasuke replied, his mind working through the optimal approach. Gaara, can your sand create a diversion to split their formation? The red-headed sand ninja nodded, his expression unnervingly calm compared to his earlier battle frenzy. I can isolate two of the guards without alerting Kabuto immediately. Temari and Kankuro, take out those two when Gaara makes his move, Sasuke continued. Sakura, you'll provide support and watch our backs in case this is a trap. What about Kabuto himself? Naruto asked, already feeling Pachita's presence intensifying at the prospect of battle. Sasuke's eyes gleamed. You and I will take him together. Your chainsaws can keep him occupied while I look for an opening to disable him with Chidori. The plan was solid, building on each member's strengths. With silent signals, they moved into position, surrounding Kabuto's team without alerting them to their presence. Gaara initiated the attack with subtle precision. Sand slithered across the ground, barely visible in the shadows, until it reached the two trailing Sound Ninja. In an instant, the sand erupted upward, encasing their legs and dragging them backward into a secluded alley. Temari and Kankuro struck immediately, silencing the guards before they could alert their comrades. The operation was executing flawlessly, until Kabuto stopped walking and smiled. Well, he called out to the seemingly empty street. If it isn't the Uchiha prodigy and the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. How convenient that you've come to us instead of making us hunt you down. He adjusted his glasses, peering directly at Naruto's hiding spot. And you've brought the one-tail as well. Lord Orochimaru will be pleased. 3 prizes for the price of 1. Naruto felt a surge of alarm. Their ambush had been compromised before it even began. Had Kabuto sensed them? Or had this entire scenario been a trap from the start? Change of plans, Sasuke muttered. Direct confrontation. Full force. Without waiting for acknowledgement, he launched himself from the rooftop, hands already forming seals. Fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu. Multiple fireballs streaked toward Kabuto and his remaining guard. The medical ninja dodged with effortless grace, while his companion deflected the attack with a sound-based barrier. Naruto followed Sasuke's lead, allowing chainsaws to burst from both arms as he descended. The mechanical roar filled the street, announcing his presence with deliberate intimidation. Ah, and here's the new specimen, Kabuto remarked, his clinical tone making Naruto's skin crawl. Lord Orochimaru was quite intrigued by your performance against Gaara. Those chainsaws aren't any known Kekkei Genkai or Jutsu. Something entirely new, perhaps? Or very, very old. You're not taking me or Sasuke anywhere. Naruto growled, the chainsaws spinning faster in response to his anger. And you're definitely not getting Pachita. Pachita? Kabuto's eyebrows rose with genuine scientific curiosity. Is that what your new friend is called? How fascinating. A named entity rather than simply a power source. He pulled a specialized kunai from his pouch, the blade gleaming with an unnatural purple sheen. I wonder how it will respond to this. A blade coated in extracted Bija chakra, specifically designed to disrupt the connection between host and entity. Before Naruto could process the implication, Kabuto moved with startling speed, the poisoned kunai aimed directly at his heart. Sasuke intercepted with his own blade, the metals clashing with a shower of sparks. "I've got this one," Sasuke told Naruto. "Take the other." Naruto nodded, pivoting toward the remaining sound ninja who had begun forming complex hand seals. Chainsaws revving, Naruto charged, intent on disrupting the jutsu before completion, but the sound ninja finished just in time, slamming his palm into the ground. Sound release, resonance field. The air itself seemed to vibrate, creating a disorienting field of shifting frequencies. Naruto stumbled, his senses overwhelmed by the technique. The chainsaws on his arms stuttered, their rotation affected by the sound-based attack. "Adapt," Pachita's voice urged within his mind. "We can counter this. Change your frequency." Naruto didn't fully understand the mechanics, but he trusted Pachita's instinct. He focused on the chainsaws, willing them to adjust their rotation pattern. The change was subtle but effective. The chainsaws began rotating at a counter-frequency that neutralized the sound-based attack. The sound ninja's eyes widened in alarm. "Impossible! No one can adapt to resonance field that quickly. I'm not just anyone," Naruto replied, advancing once more. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage of the Leaf Village. And I've got the devil on my side." Meanwhile, Sasuke and Kabuto exchanged blows at blinding speed, their movements almost too fast to follow. Despite his unassuming appearance, Kabuto fought with the skill and precision of an elite jonin, his medical knowledge making each strike potentially lethal. "Your eyes are developing nicely," Kabuto remarked, ducking under a fire jutsu. "Two Tomo already. Lord Orochimaru will be pleased with your progress. I'm not some experiment for you to cultivate." Sasuke snarled, electricity crackling around his left hand as he prepared Chidori. "Oh, but you are," Kabuto replied with a smile. "You just don't know it yet." The battle intensified as Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro joined the fray, having dispatched the other sound ninja. Sand, wind, and puppet techniques converged on Kabuto, forcing him to retreat from Sasuke momentarily. Impressive teamwork, Kabuto acknowledged, somehow maintaining his clinical detachment despite being outnumbered. But ultimately futile. He reached into his pouch and produced a small, cylindrical device with glowing seals etched across its surface. Lord Orochimaru prepared for every contingency. Without warning, he slammed the device into the ground. A pulse of chakra erupted outward, momentarily paralyzing everyone within range. Everyone except Naruto, whose chainsaw limbs seemed to absorb and neutralize the effect. Taking advantage of the opening, Naruto charged directly at Kabuto, chainsaws aimed at the medical ninja's vital points. But Kabuto had anticipated this, pulling another specialized weapon from his arsenal, a strange, curved blade that hummed with an energy signature that made Pachita recoil within Naruto. "Careful," the mechanical fox warned. "That weapon, it's wrong. It smells like dead devils." The warning came too late. As Naruto's chainsaw connected with Kabuto's blade, a violent reaction occurred. Pain exploded through Naruto's transformed limb, the chainsaw teeth grinding against the strange metal but unable to cut through it. Worse, the contact seemed to be disrupting Pachita's presence itself, creating a dissonance that reverberated through Naruto's entire being. "Interesting," Kabuto observed, pressing the advantage. "It seems the legends were true. Devil bone weapons do affect your kind." Naruto stumbled backward, his transformed arms spasming uncontrollably. The chainsaw retracted involuntarily, leaving his limb human but racked with pain. "He has weapons made from devils?" Pachita snarled internally, a note of genuine fear in the mechanical voice. "Only the strongest devil hunters could forge such things. This world shouldn't have them." "Where did you get that?" Naruto demanded, clutching his injured arm. Kabuto smiled enigmatically. "Lord Orochimaru's interests extend beyond this dimension. You'd be surprised what one can find when searching through the fabric between worlds." The implication was chilling. Somehow, Orochimaru had accessed knowledge or materials from Pachita's world, the realm of devils that the mechanical fox had fled. Before Naruto could recover, Kabuto launched another attack, the devil bone blade aimed at his chest. But a wall of sand intercepted, hardening instantly to shield Naruto from the strike. "Enough talk," Gaara said coldly, moving to stand beside Naruto. "You're outnumbered and outmatched." "Am I?" Kabuto replied, adjusting his glasses calmly despite the precarious situation. Or perhaps I've accomplished exactly what I came for. With a hand sign, he activated another device, this one emitting a high-pitched sound that seemed to target Gaara specifically. The sand ninja clutched his head in sudden pain, Shikaka's seal visibly flaring on his forehead, a frequency specifically calibrated to agitate Bijou. Kabuto explained. Particularly effective against the one-tail. Did you think we hadn't studied Gaara extensively before planning this invasion? Naruto moved to destroy the device, but Kabuto was already retreating, throwing smoke bombs to cover his escape. Through the haze, his voice called out with disturbing confidence. We've gathered all the data we need for now. Your devil, Naruto Uzumaki, has proven even more interesting than anticipated. Rest assured, Lord Orochimaru will be coming for both of you personally. This was merely reconnaissance. As the smoke cleared, Kabuto had vanished completely, leaving behind only the disabled sound device and a lingering sense of unease. The immediate threat was gone, but Naruto couldn't shake the feeling that they had played directly into Orochimaru's hands somehow. Are you okay? Sasuke asked, approaching Naruto with uncharacteristic concern. Naruto nodded, though his arms still throbbed with a strange, mechanical pain. Pachita's shaken up. That weapon, it hurt him somehow. Not just physically. What did he mean about other dimensions? Sakura asked, joining them as the danger passed. And devil bone weapons? I don't know, Naruto admitted. But Pachita's worried. Really worried. Whatever Orochimaru's discovered, it's something that threatens devils directly. Gaara, recovering from the sonic attack, regarded Naruto solemnly. This changes the situation. If Orochimaru can target both Jinchuriki and whatever you've become, then none of us are safe. A distant explosion drew their attention back to the Hokage Tower. The purple barrier still stood, but it was fluctuating now, its colors shifting sporadically. The Hokage's battle is reaching its climax, Sasuke observed grimly. We should rejoin the main defense, as Team 7 and their Sand allies move to return to the central conflict. Naruto felt Pachita withdrawing deeper within his consciousness, not to hide, but to process what had happened, to understand the implications of Orochimaru possessing weapons from the devil realm. This changes everything, the mechanical fox murmured internally. If he can hurt devils, if he can cross dimensions, then he might be able to summon them. Control them. Worse, he might attract them. Them? Naruto questioned mentally. Who's them? Pachita's answer sent a chill through Naruto's entire being. The primal fears. The beings that even devils fear. If Orochimaru tears open the barriers between worlds too often, they might notice this realm. And if they do, the mechanical fox didn't finish the thought, but the implication was clear. Whatever awaited on the other side of the dimensional barriers, it was something that even Pachita, the chainsaw devil, regarded with dread, and Orochimaru was blindly, humbly reaching toward it in his quest for power. The purple barrier shattered just as Team 7 arrived at the Hokage Tower, fragments of chakra dissipating into the air like violet glass. The invasion forces, sensing a shift in the tide of battle, began a strategic withdrawal, covered by the remaining sound and sand ninja. Something's wrong, Naruto muttered, peering up at the rooftop where the barrier had been. The absence of chakra signatures, particularly the third Hokage's powerful presence, created an ominous void. The NBU Black Ops appeared on the scene, rushing toward the rooftop with urgent purpose. Within minutes, the news began to spread through the shinobi ranks, passing from squad to squad in hushed, disbelieving voices. The third Hokage was dead. Orochimaru had escaped, wounded but alive. Konoha had repelled the invasion, but at devastating cost. Naruto stood frozen as the reality sank in. The old man, the Hokage who had shown him kindness when most of the village treated him with fear and contempt, was gone. The grandfatherly figure who had given Naruto his apartment, who had checked on him periodically, who had believed in his dream to become Hokage himself someday. Naruto. Sakura's gentle voice broke through his shock, her hand resting hesitantly on his shoulder. I'm so sorry. Grief welled up inside him, raw and overwhelming. But beneath the sorrow, something else stirred, a cold, mechanical fury that resonated with Pachita's presence. The Chainsaw Devil responded to Naruto's emotional turmoil, amplifying and transforming it into something more primal, more dangerous. Revenge, Pachita whispered within his mind. The Snake Man took someone precious from you. Make him pay. Hunt him down. Devour him. The hunger that had become Naruto's constant companion intensified, focusing on a specific target. The chainsaws beneath his skin revved in anticipation, eager to tear into Orochimaru's flesh, to reduce the Sannin to bloody chunks. Naruto? Sasuke's sharp voice cut through the haze of rage and grief. Your eyes, Naruto blinked, realizing that his vision had taken on a reddish tint, not the familiar effect of Kurama's influence, but something different. Something mechanical and precise. I'm fine. He lied, forcing the transformation back. The chainsaws that had begun to emerge from his fingertips retracted reluctantly, leaving his hands human but trembling. Just processing. Sasuke regarded him skeptically but didn't press further. He understood loss and the desire for vengeance better than most. The next few days passed in a blur of funerals, reconstruction efforts, and strategic meetings. Gaara and his siblings had returned to the Sand Village as envoys of peace, carrying the truth about Orochimaru's deception and the death of the real Kazekage. Preliminary alliances were formed, strengthened by the shared experience of Orochimaru's betrayal. Throughout it all, Naruto struggled with the increasingly vocal presence of Pachita. The mechanical fox had been changed by the encounter with Kabuto and the Devil Bone weapons, becoming more assertive, more persistent in its influence. The hunger gnawed at Naruto constantly now, demanding more than the occasional taste of blood that had satisfied it before. Something's wrong with the seal, Jiraiya observed during one of their training sessions a week after the invasion. The Sannin had been officially appointed as Naruto's guardian and mentor, responsible for monitoring both the Nine Tails and the Chainsaw Devil. The balance is shifting. What do you mean? Naruto asked, though he already suspected the answer. The Chainsaw Devil is becoming more dominant, Jiraiya explained, examining the complicated seal matrix that now existed on Naruto's abdomen. A fusion of the fourth Hokage's original 8-trigram seal and the new, mechanical patterns that had emerged from his contract with Pachita. And the Nine Tails is responding aggressively. They're competing for influence. Naruto had felt it. The internal power struggle between his two tenets. Kurama had begun to reassert himself, no longer content to remain suppressed by Pachita's influence. The Nine Tails chakra would occasionally surge without warning, creating a discordant clash with Pachita's mechanical energy. Can you fix it? Naruto asked, wincing as another wave of hunger rolled through him. Make them coexist somehow? Jiraiya's expression was grim. This is unprecedented, Naruto. No Jinchuriki has ever hosted two entities of this magnitude simultaneously. The strain on your chakra network, not to mention your physical body, is immense, but I'm handling it, Naruto insisted. I've got better control over the transformations now, for the moment, Jiraiya conceded. But I'm concerned about long-term stability. The contract you made with Pachita may have saved your life initially, but it created an inherently unstable system. Eventually, something will have to give. Naruto fell silent, processing the implications. Would he eventually have to choose between Pachita and Kurama? Or would the two entities tear him apart from the inside as they battled for dominance? There's more, Jiraiya continued, his voice lowering. The council is concerned about your new abilities, especially in light of Orochimaru's specific interest in you during the invasion. They're afraid of me, Naruto translated bitterly. Just like always, they're afraid of what Orochimaru might do to obtain your power, Jiraiya corrected. The presence of Devil Bone weapons in his arsenal suggests he's been researching interdimensional entities for some time. Your contract with Pachita represents a successful merger that Orochimaru would undoubtedly want to study and replicate. So what does that mean for me? Naruto asked, already dreading the answer. It means, Jiraiya said carefully, that we're going on an extended training journey. Away from Konoha, away from anywhere Orochimaru might easily track us. I've convinced the council it's the best way to protect both you and the village while we work on stabilizing your condition. Naruto's heart sank. Leave Konoha? Leave Team 7 just when they'd started to become a real team? Leave behind everything familiar just as the village was rebuilding? For how long? He asked, his voice small. 2 years minimum, Jiraiya replied. Possibly 3, depending on progress. That's not fair. Naruto protested, anger flaring. I can't just abandon my friends, my home, for years. What about becoming Hokage? What about Sasuke and Sakura? What about? He cut himself off as he felt chainsaws threatening to emerge from his arms in response to his emotional outburst. Taking a deep breath, Naruto forced himself to calm down, to push back against Pachita's eagerness to transform. See? Jiraiya observed quietly. Your control slips when you're emotional. That's dangerous, Naruto, both for you and everyone around you. The training journey isn't just about keeping you safe from Orochimaru. It's about ensuring you don't become a threat to the very people you want to protect. The truth of Jiraiya's words struck Naruto hard. He remembered the fear in the academy students' eyes during the invasion, the way civilians had recoiled from his chainsaw transformations even as he fought to protect them. The hunger inside him was growing, becoming harder to satiate with small amounts of blood. What if it eventually demanded more than he was willing to give? When do we leave? He asked finally, resignation setting in. 3 days, Jiraiya answered. Just enough time to say your goodbyes and gather supplies. Naruto nodded numbly, his mind already racing ahead to the difficult conversations awaiting him. How would he explain this to his teammates? To Irika-sensei? To the others who had finally begun to see him as more than just a Nine-Tails container? As if reading his thoughts, Jiraiya added, Kakashi will inform Sasuke and Sakura of the official reason for your departure. Extended specialized training due to the unique nature of your abilities. But you can tell them as much of the truth as you feel comfortable sharing. And what is the truth, exactly? Naruto asked, a hint of bitterness in his tone. That I'm too dangerous to stay? That I'm turning into something not even the village council can control? The truth, Jiraiya said firmly, is that you're still Naruto Uzumaki. Still the stubborn, unpredictable, big-hearted knucklehead who dreams of becoming Hokage. But you've been given power beyond what most shinobi will ever experience. And with that comes responsibility to master it completely before it masters you. The Sannin placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, his expression softening slightly. This isn't exile, Naruto. It's preparation. When you return, you'll have control not just of the Nine-Tails chakra, but of the Chainsaw Devil's power as well. You'll be stronger than anyone could imagine, if I return, Naruto murmured. If I don't lose myself completely, you won't, Jiraiya said with surprising conviction. Because that's your ninja way, isn't it? To never give up, to never go back on your word. So make me a promise right now. Promise that no matter how strong the hunger gets, no matter how tempting Pachita's power becomes, you'll remain Naruto Uzumaki first and foremost. Naruto met his mentor's gaze, feeling both the weight and the necessity of the promise. I swear it. I won't let either of them take over. I'll master this power and come back stronger than ever. Within him, Pachita stirred at the oath, the mechanical fox's presence pulsing with what might have been approval, or perhaps amusement at the human's determination. We shall see, the devil whispered. We shall see what remains of Naruto Uzumaki when the hunger truly awakens. The training ground lay in ruins, trees splintered to sawdust, earth carved into deep trenches, boulders reduced to gravel. At the center of the destruction stood Naruto, his transformed body heaving with exertion as chainsaws gradually retracted into human flesh. Better, Jiraiya assessed from a safe distance, lowering the barrier jutsu he'd maintained throughout the training session. Your control during full transformation is improving. You maintained awareness for nearly 5 minutes that time. Naruto nodded wearily, collapsing onto a relatively intact boulder. After 6 months of intensive training in remote locations across the continent, he had finally managed to achieve and partially control the complete Chainsaw Devil transformation, a monstrous form covered in chainsaws of various sizes, with his head transformed into a massive, roaring engine that consumed everything in its path. Still not enough, Naruto muttered, wiping blood and oil from his face. The full transformation exacted a heavy toll, leaving him physically and mentally drained for hours afterward. I could feel myself slipping at the end. Pachita was starting to take over, That's the risk of complete transformation. Jiraiya acknowledged, approaching now that Naruto had fully returned to human form. The more of his power you use, the more influence he gains over your consciousness. It was a delicate balance they'd been working to achieve, allowing enough of Pachita's power to manifest without surrendering Naruto's identity in the process. The hunger remained a constant challenge, growing more insistent with each transformation until Naruto felt hollow with need. The blood pills aren't enough anymore, Naruto admitted, referring to the specialized soldier pills Jiraiya had developed, infused with blood plasma to help satiate Pachita's hunger without requiring fresh blood. They barely take the edge off now. Jiraiya frowned, concern etching deeper lines in his face. We need to find a more sustainable solution. At this rate, the hunger will become unmanageable within another few months. What about Kurama? Naruto suggested, touching the seal on his abdomen. His chakra is so powerful. Maybe it could substitute for the blood Pachita craves. Dangerous, Jiraiya warned. The Nine Tails is already agitated by the Chainsaw Devil's presence. Trying to channel its chakra directly to Pachita could trigger an internal conflict that your body wouldn't survive. The last 6 months had revealed just how complex the relationship between Naruto's two tenants truly was. Kurama resented Pachita's dominance, occasionally flooding Naruto's system with corrosive red chakra in attempts to reassert control. Pachita, meanwhile, regarded the Nine Tails as both a potential threat and a potential food source. The devil's hunger occasionally turning inward, attempting to consume the Bija's energy directly. Only Naruto's stubborn will had prevented catastrophe so far, maintaining an uneasy truce between the two entities by keeping them separate within his mindscape. But as his transformations grew more complete and Pachita's influence stronger, that separation became increasingly difficult to maintain. Maybe we're approaching this wrong, Jiraiya mused, his expression thoughtful. Instead of trying to satisfy the hunger, perhaps we should be exploring its nature more deeply. What exactly does Pachita hunger for? Is it truly blood itself, or something blood represents? Naruto considered this. The hunger wasn't like physical hunger for food, though it created similar sensations of emptiness and need. It was deeper, more primal, a craving not just for sustenance but for something else that Naruto couldn't quite define.